Gigi. I am so happy to speak to you. I know you are the CEO of Virtina, and I wanted to get a better insight on what exactly are the 10 common e-commerce failures, because I have a business of my own, so I just want to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes.
Okay. So before we look at top 10 reasons, right, let me tell you why this is important
Okay.
to understand these reasons. If you're in front of the computer, if you just open up your Google and type in e-commerce project failure rate, you'll be surprised to see the number. 80 to 97, according to Google, 80 to 97 percentage of e-commerce projects fail. So let me tell you that again. According to Google, 80 to 97% of e-commerce projects fail. Now, you may argue that there are a lot of e-commerce entrepreneurs comes and goes like mushrooms in the fresh rain, and that constitute this large number. Of course, in B2C, that's right. But if you do a little more research, you could find that in B2B, that failure rate is 95%. Nobody needs to be convinced as to why e-commerce is such an important topic in our personal life and in our business life. Nobody needs that convincing anymore, right? So if you're running a business, it is imperative that you're going to do an investment in e-commerce for sure. If it comes with a large, high number of failure rate, therefore you must know why an e-commerce project failed also. Agree?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
I definitely agree.
Okay. So the first one is lack of understanding of the true role of e-commerce. What do I mean by that? So traditionally, if you just open up Wikipedia and search for e-commerce, definition of e-commerce, it's something like selling, a platform helping business to sell online. That's its simplistic definition. True, but for bigger brands and the more B2B you are, selling online not itself is the goal of an e-commerce platform. So I have been in the business of technology for 25 years. Over the course of this 25 years, what I have seen is that one thing that constantly accelerating from the business decision makers is the speed of execution, right? And recently, McKinsey came and said that one of the number one top of the mind of CEOs is speed of execution also. So from that angle, so that's one thing. Keep in mind please keep in mind. The second thing that you have to keep in mind that if you look at the Wikipedia, according to Wikipedia, the definition of e-commerce is a platform that help a business to sell online. Okay.
Right.
But if you look at this little more closely, you can see that e-commerce is the platform that can help to meet all the 5 type of people in any business. Why that is important? Because if in any business, you can see that the business exists for the purpose of meeting people's personal objectives. So it is correct to say that any business is human. Now, who are the 5 type of people? We can talk about that a little later. They are prospects, customers, employees, investors, and partners, right?
Right.
And everyone has its own objective. After 25 years of my business of technology, e-commerce is the only platform that I could find, if done correctly, it can meet every 5 type of people's objectives. That's number one. Now, second, e-commerce is most closest to your revenue. if done correctly, using automation,
Mm-hmm.
you can increase profit using e-commerce, and it can deliver customer experience in an omni-channel fashion wherever the customer is and whenever they want, right? It can connect to all your systems. So if you take all these attributes, this is the platform that can meet all type of people's objectives in your business. It is
Right.
most close to your revenue. It can increase your profit using automation. It can deliver customer experience, omni-channel, right? And then it can connect with all the other systems. That's bigger than e-commerce, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, connect one more factor to this. Recently, McKinsey did a study, and he said that top of the mind of CEOs today is speed. How do you react to the market conditions fast? And of course, technology plays a greater play in it. But guess what? E-commerce being a low coding platform, you can deliver a solution much faster than a custom software development solution, right? That's a second factor that you think about when you think about e-commerce. So the true role of e-commerce is not just selling online. The bigger you are, the bigger brand you are, the more B2B you are, the definition change. And not having an understanding of that can kill your project.
Right. Right. I think it's crazy that it's way more than just e-commerce, because I think that I usually focus more on just selling my products online, and I don't really focus on whether my customers have a good experience and actually enjoy my website, can feel connected, and that way I can reach more and more people. So I think that having that understanding of the true role of e-commerce will really help me in my business. That way, moving forward, I can see what I can do to increase the experience as well, and make sure that my customers actually enjoy being on
Yeah,
my
I mean,
website.
so it is a holistic, it is a 360-degree holistic view of your business, right? How does the technology like e-commerce can help you to see all of that and address many parts of that business, right? That's
Right.
the definition. That's the journey where you start the true
Hmm.
role. It sounds like a philosophy, but that's
Hmm.
exactly what it is, right?
Right, right. Yes. No, I do appreciate you going over that, because it helped me get a better understanding. And now I know exactly what I need to sort of implement those factors into my website, and how it can be a bigger picture in a sense. And
Yeah.
I guess I was just too focused on just selling things online, and and that should be everything I need to know, but it's more than that.
That's where it starts, right? That's your
Mhm.
focus is to sell online. Of course, you got to make money, but as
Right.
you grow, you will have to have this understanding, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're
Yes.
already grown, you definitely you have to start here. Let's move on to the second one: lack of planning, right? You know that saying that measure twice and cut once, right? And
Yes.
in an abstract project like software development, that statement become more true. Many times, what I have seen, e-commerce project is a complex, user-centered software engineering problem.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about somebody sitting in their home trying to sell two items online, right? If you're a serious
Right.
business, it is a complex, user-centered software engineering problem, and that needs bit of a planning, a lot of planning, right? Many times companies don't plan for you have to plan for success, and then only it can succeed.
Mhm.
That's another failure point, a failure reason for e-commerce project.
Wow. Wow. And it looks like you have to really, really plan out long term, short term. Like, I feel like I'm only focused on really the short term, what I can do right now to see instant results. But then I think also long term, focusing on what I can prevent, what are the issues that maybe if I tackle on now, it will help prevent that. So I think that planning is definitely something that I should increase and improve in.
Yeah, good. The third one is lack of understanding of the holistic goals. This is related to the first one. I kind of touched upon it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in order for any business to be successful, it has to tie, it has to understand the personal goals of the people that's involved in that business, right? And there are,
Right.
if you take any business, there are, you can identify there are 5 type of people in any business: your customers, your prospects, your investors, your partners, and your employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each one has their own objective. Like I said, by nature of e-commerce, it is the only platform that I could find so far which can, if done correctly, which can address all of this 5 type of people's objectives. So you got to understand what people need, what their goal is, right? I have seen
Right.
e-commerce projects fails because employees didn't like it. Was hard to use for employees. So true story about pre-COVID, about 6 or 7 months back, and we start talking with this prospect, and he was a manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that in the last 30 months, I changed my e-commerce platform 2 times. So I asked why. Because our employees didn't like it. Now I'm in the market for the third one. So I suspect that, there's a lack of planning, lack of
Mm-hmm.
understanding of the true goals. All of that is in the mix. There may be other
Right.
reasons also, but definitely from my honest standpoint, this was one of the reasons.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean that makes sense because I think that so many times that is overlooked and it's not something that people really focus all of their energy on to try to improve for the customer. And something as simple as having a platform where you feel comfortable to make changes.
In order for a business to be successful, it has to be the goals. It has to be tied to the personal goals. Where a business is successful when it delivers objective, when it meets or exceeds people's objective of the people that is connected with the business. Yes,
Yes, that's true.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Any business, right? Take any business. The definition of a successful business is when it delivers its promises to the people that's connected to it, right? Who are these people then? The people are customers, prospects, employees, investors, partners. 5 type, and each has their own. Each of these members type of people have their own objectives, right? And
Right.
therefore, when you do an e-commerce by its nature can meet every one of these objectives, every one of the people objectives if done correctly. Therefore, before you start, we got to identify who these people are and who are they, what are their objectives. Then include that in your building process, in your planning process.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
it
good.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's a people. Business is people. Business is human at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. The next one, just another website. We call it JAW, right? JAW,
Mm-hmm.
right? So many times what happens is that e-commerce, most of the e-commerce is done on yeah, almost every e-commerce site is done as a website. So there is this attitude that, you know what, it's just another website. Not really, right? It is if you're a bigger brand, again, I keep saying this, if you're a bigger brand, if you're a B2B company, that is not just a website. It's a business application that you're building
Right.
that lives on the web. That attitude is just another website can definitely be the Achilles heel for your project, for you. If you have that attitude, change it. It's a complex, user-centered software engineering problem. So therefore, because it's a user-centered complex software engineering problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in your project team, in addition to the marketing, there has to be a engineering team, right? An engineer or engineering team a software engineering team that understand the e-commerce platforms better be. And that's where we come in, you know. But that's why we are a software engineering company focusing on e-commerce development and strategy and design and development and integration.
Right. So you pretty much help facilitate the whole process of going into e-commerce with the intention of building that experience.
Correct. Soup to nuts, except we work with the marketing team.
Okay.
So the last one for today is build, they will not come. This is the most easiest one, right? It's true for many. You got to invest into marketing in order to be successful. Just because we the engineers build the greatest e-commerce platform out there, if your marketing team is not involved in driving traffic to the site, right? This is going to be a failure. You have to have marketing dollars invested into the project.
Right.
So that's the fifth one. There are other 5 more which we can talk about the next Friday.
That's fine. That's fine. I really do appreciate it. It was very insightful, and I think that I can take all of those tips into my own business and see how I can improve, because it's all about like improving your performance, and especially online, trying to differentiate yourself within a bunch of websites like that are online. So it's important to realize that it's more than just selling online. It's more so just creating an experience where people just want to continuously go back to your website. So I do appreciate that, and I've learned so much.
Here's my last tip. Please don't refer your e-commerce site as a website.
Okay.
It's an e-commerce site, right?
Right.
Not there as a mentality. You know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It makes sense. I think I have a lot to improve, but I'm excited to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to you next week, because I want to learn more and see what I can do for my e-commerce site.
Excellent. Thank you, Mira.
Thank you, Gigi. Take care.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye.